Okay, welcome back to everyone. So today's class we are going to uh, cover representation of XP naught, XN naught in terms of depletion width. This is the equation which we have stopped the last class. This equation you can see here. This is again uh, V naught equals W by 2 into Q by epsilon XP naught into Na. This is one form of built-in potential equation across the depletion width. And another form you can write it by replacing XP naught with XN naught and Na with Nd. Okay, so you get two different equations for V naught. Remember, these are alternative equations for V naught. We have earlier derived even a very popular equation V naught. We'll recall that short while what the equation we have derived. But this equation you need to remember for solving problems point of view. Okay, next let us see once we are aware the built-in potential equations. Let me represent the this distance depletion width p xp naught and xn naught in terms of depletion width w. Okay, so we have this popular equation which is E is equal to this is uh, just a minute. Choose different color. Okay, I think it should be something like this. Small adjustment I need to do with reference to this. Yeah. So this is the equation which is E is equal to minus dV by dx. E is here represents electric field, which is derivative of this voltage or built-in potential dV of x by dx. And this conversely, this equation can be written in the form of by integrating this. If you want to obtain V naught from this electric field, you can integrate between minus xp naught to infinity or plus xp plus this is plus xn naught. Just to make a change here if you are unable to get it. So entire depletion width we are integrating. So here the one side towards p side it starts from minus xp naught and n side it ends with xn naught. And if you integrate the whole electric field equation in the depletion width, so V naught you can easily obtain. So V naught is going to be minus because the field and the voltage are going to be negative. Okay, they are in opposite direction. That's why this there is a negative sign here. Okay, so the above equation, this equation relates electric field to the constant built-in potential, which is V naught. Field at any point of x as is the negative of potential gradient at that particular point. Okay, this is we are explaining with reference to this equation. Okay, now let us see the negative of the contact potential is simply the area under E of x. We already shown this E of x area. You can see that it is a the electric field. The x axis here, and if you see this as a graph, x axis is a distance x and y axis is electric field. This graph is nothing but it's a inverse triangular graph what you are seeing here. Okay, so this edge is one edge of a depletion region towards p side. This is another edge of a depletion region towards n side. Distance between them is w. So this is the depletion width of a uh, depletion width. Okay, it's a transition region width. This graph shows electric field in the transition region. Okay, it is inverse triangular, and we already told that the field is maximum in the middle of a junction. Okay, and this field the external potential whatever you apply that depends whether you are in favor of this field or against to this field. We will see that in forward bias you are applying external field and this is inbuilt field. Whether there it is in favorable or against, we'll see that short while when we take up the biasing conditions. Okay, so now we will see that this EFX from this we can obtain the equation for V naught. So V naught can be easily estimated by identifying the area. In fact, see from electric field, if you integrate this electric field, you are going to get this built-in potential equation V naught. Integration means you are trying to find, this is nothing but area, okay, under the curve. That's what the integration tells us. Okay, so whether you go by mathematical integration and apply the limits, from minus xp naught to plus xn naught, we already seen that. Okay, you get the same, the built-in potential equation. Other way, you can also integrate, the electric field, or you can find out area under the curve, complete electric field curve. You get the built-in potential voltage equation. That's what we are doing here. So now if you want to estimate the area of this, it's nothing but it's a inverse triangle as I mentioned. So this is area of this triangle is nothing but half into base into height. Okay, so this is half into base into height here. Okay, this is the area of this triangle. If you apply that here, so V naught is equal to now half into base is nothing but sum of this xp naught depletion width at p side and depletion width at n side. So sum of this gives you the W into this is we have used a bracket here to indicate the height. Height is nothing but it's at the origin the maximum electric field exists, so that itself you can take it as a height. We already shown this equation for E of 0. So E of 0 is nothing but q times nd xn naught divided by epsilon. Here also there are two equations we have shown for E of 0 in terms of xn naught, other equation in terms of xp naught. You can use any one of those equations, to obtain this built-in potential equation. Okay, so this is one equation such. This gives you the area, and in turn that estimates the built-in potential V naught. Now let us go through the charge neutrality. We have seen this in earlier class also. What does charge neutrality tells us? So charge neutrality tells us, the charges in the n neutral n area and neutral p area, they are going to be equal, because there are equal number of electron hole pairs happens in both the neutral regions. So you see that in the neutral, in the both n side neutral region and the p side neutral regions, both will be equal number of electron hole pairs happens, and mathematically we can show that as nd times xn naught equals na times xp naught. So let us call this as equation 2. Okay, so now we know that depletion width W is equal to xn naught plus xp naught. This is the sum of this total distance is the W, which represents width of the depletion region, and let us call this as equation 3 here. See, my reference are given here with the different equation numbers here, but only for understanding purpose you can change these equation numbers later. Okay, so from equation 2, charge neutrality equation, we can modify this equation, charge neutrality equation, and rewrite that xp naught. So here we have xp naught, which can be written in terms of nd by na. So in terms of xn naught here. Okay, so let us call this as equation 4. Now you can substitute equation number 4 in equation 3. Equation 3 is nothing but this width equation. So you can substitute in that. So xn naught is kept as it is, whereas in place of xp naught, in this place you can substitute as nd by na into xn naught. So that's what you are seeing here. So this is the xp naught substitution what we have made. Now you can see this xn naught and xn naught, they are common. You can take it outside. So you can see here there is an xn naught here, which we have taken as a common factor. Within the bracket, you can simplify this further. This entire term can be simplified further, and you get it xn naught into na plus nd divided by na. So this is the width in terms of xn naught, and xn naught can be obtained by just sending this to other side. So if you do that, xn naught is equal to W, width of the depletion region. Remember that this xn naught is nothing but it is depletion edge of a depletion region. Okay, so this is edge of depletion region towards, okay, which side? So towards the n side. Okay, so this is n side, so this is towards n side. Okay, so the mathematical equation of edge of a depletion region towards n side is given by in terms of total depletion width, and Na is nothing but acceptor ion concentration, Nd is donor ion concentration. So this is the equation which relates edge of a depletion region towards n side to the total width in terms of acceptor and donor ion concentration. This equation can be written similar lines for xp naught also. Xp naught equals W times wherever there is Na, you can substitute as Nd, and the denominator term remains as it is, Na plus Nd. So now we have two equations, one for xn naught, other for xp naught, and you can also observe here xn naught depends on Na, xp naught depends on Nd, and as well as both Na plus Nd, and also total depletion width. So this equation can be substituted in a built-in potential equation, which we have already seen in equation 1. This is a built-in potential equation, and we can obtain alternative equation for the built-in potential. So V naught, that is inbuilt potential, equals, or barrier potential equals half of xp naught plus xn naught. So this is what the equation I'm just showing to you once again. So multiplied with q Nd into xn naught divided by epsilon. This xp naught and plus xn naught, this can be substituted as W. So this is the W. And for xn naught, you can substitute from this equation 5. So this xn naught, we already know that in terms of W, so that you can substitute here. So you get built-in potential equation as half into W by epsilon into Q Nd W into Na divided by Na plus Nd. This is one equation, and we can also obtain W from this barrier potential equation. So this has two W's here, one is here and other one is here. So on right hand side it becomes a square, and if you transfer remaining terms to left hand side, so the W here will be the square root of this. Okay, so that is shown as 1 by 2 here. Okay, so 2 epsilon by Q, this goes to numerator, left hand side. So that is the first term into V naught, and here this Na plus Nd goes to numerator divided by Na into Nd. The whole thing is under square root. Okay, so this further within the bracket you can simplify this. Just Na 1 by Na, you can write this as 1 by Na plus 1 by Nd. This you can just modify this. You can break this plus into two different parts. You get this equation. So the final equation for W is now 2 epsilon V naught by Q into 1 by Na plus 1 by Nd whole to the power of half. This equation also you need to remember. See, whatever the equations which are numbered, you should remember them, so that these equations we use it in solving problems. Okay, I will solve in the upcoming class a couple of problems based on this W, xn naught and xp naught. So just remember these equations. I suggest you to write down all these equations at the end of your notes. You can just separate these formulas module wise, so that you can remember very easily. Okay, fine. Now next let's rewrite this equation in terms of xn naught. Already we know that this xn naught equation, xn naught is here, xn naught is equal to W Na divided by Na plus Nd. So you can see here this is same equation, W Nd divided by Na plus Nd. So this you can just bring it to the denominator, and you can see here this is W. We have only W in the numerator into 1 plus Na divided by Nd. Okay, so here also you can substitute W equation which we already derived from equation 6. So this W equation you can substitute here, and you can obtain a final equation for xp naught in terms of V naught. So here in xn naught and xp naught you can so you can also write it this alternative form of equation, xp naught in terms of epsilon V naught by Q into Nd into Na plus Nd, the whole flower bracket we have shown here as a square root here. Okay, so there are two equations here, one for xn naught, other for xp naught here. Here xn naught equation, I think there is small change here. There is a mistake here. So you can see this is not Nd, this is going to be the Na. Okay, so the xn naught is in terms of Na. So let me strike out this, and this is, let me rewrite here, this is Na. Okay, rest all is correct. Okay, so the xp naught equation is in terms of this equation is in terms of nd. Okay, so the equation 7 and 8 are very important, so that we will solve a few problems based on this equation. Okay, so from equation 7 and 8, the transition region extends further into the side with higher doping. Okay, for example, further into the side with higher doping. For example, if Na is very much less than Nd, okay, which region is heavily doped for this particular type of doping? Any idea? So if uh,
N type, sir. N
yes,
type.
yes, yes, the type of diode is Pn plus. Is it right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is a type of diode. So that means, if you see the depletion region, it extends towards P side. So it's like, suppose if I write a depletion, show the diode with the depletion region. This is the middle of a junction, and more, you can see the extension towards P side. This is P side, and this is N plus now because this is heavily doped, and you will be having a narrow region in the N side. So this region is filled with the all negative charges like this, but this region is filled with positive charges, something like this. Okay, so this is neutral N region, and this is neutral P region. Okay, so for this kind of the doping, Nd far greater than Na, this type of junction, PN junction, you would see. Okay, that's what equation also tells you here. Just analyze this, the equation 7 and 8, that gives you this information only. Okay, when you do the doping as per this the condition here, Na less than Nd. I think we have done this much about this. Any questions are there about this derivation? If you don't have, let me proceed to the next topic. Okay, I hope you understood this. A lot of mathematical aspects are there, but this is inevitable, for the subject. We can't simply go by theory. The subject, we need to understand even mathematical aspects along with semiconductor theory. Though it is, the equations and physics concept, understanding simultaneously is a bit difficult. But you have to enjoy this subject by looking at these equations. Okay, with that, I think let me save this and proceed to the next topic of interest. Let me see what happens to the PN junction under bias. So far, we have seen the electrostatics of PN junction. Now, let me proceed to the next one. Okay, so you're able to see the screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is the next topic of interest, forward and reverse biased junctions, and we are going to discuss this in under steady state conditions. Okay, do you remember other conditions what we have apart from this steady state conditions? Any idea? You can see this. This is a steady state condition. Okay, what are other conditions we have when we analyze devices, semiconductor devices? One is steady state conditions. What do we mean by steady state condition? Yeah, yeah, go ahead. Somebody is answering. Yeah. Okay, so if you see this is steady state, yeah, go ahead.
Maybe, sir, equilibrium.
Ah,
Equilibrium.
equilibrium conditions, exactly. What other conditions you are aware?
Uh,
Let
the
me write.
movement of charges like hole and electron.
Hello. Yeah, go ahead. See, one is equilibrium conditions. Other one is I've come across the transient conditions. Transient conditions. Okay.
Yes, sir.
What do you mean by transient conditions?
Uh, the electron from N side will pass to the P side and the whole P to N. That one. Maybe, sir. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Transient conditions is nothing but with reference to timing. Okay, we are going to apply different sort of the pulses with reference to timings. Okay, so that's called transient conditions. That means probably if you apply input instead of applying like this, the DC, if you apply waveforms of this sort. Okay, what is this waveform? step waveform. Okay, or if you apply for a diode instead of this VR or VF, if you apply a waveform of this sort, what is this? This is a triangular. This is a step waveform. That means if you are analyzing, this diode behavior for these kind of, the pulses, step input or triangular input or even sinusoidal also like this. Okay, so all this, behavior we call as transient conditions. You can observe here in all these things, the x-axis is a time axis. Okay, this is a time axis here. So this is a time. Okay, but look at here, we are not going to analyze this behavior of diode with these sort of pulses. As you can see here, what kind of voltage it is? VF and VR. Okay, it's a DC voltage. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So these are DC voltage. DC means it is steady state. Okay, this is also DC. Okay, the moment we show this sort of a symbol like minus here, long line, minus short line, plus long line. Okay, we use this symbol for battery. Okay, if you use just a one line like this and a long line like this represent cell. Okay, whereas if you show this multiple lines like this, okay, this shows it is a battery. Series of cells makes a battery. Okay, so here the same representation we have shown here. Okay, fine. So now this we are studying this diode behavior for under steady state conditions. Okay, steady state means the voltage here do not change with reference to time. So the DC waves, it looks somewhat like this. It is a constant wave. It looks like a straight line. So VF, maybe say I may apply VF 1 volt here. Okay, 1 volt. This is plus 1 volt. Okay. You can also apply negative. Okay. Or negative voltage as well here. Though you have shown here this as a positive. Negative is here. You can see here. In this case, we apply negative voltage something like this. This is say 0 axis and negative voltage something. It may be minus 1 volt. Okay, so here we have negative voltage and here we have positive voltage. And now we are going to study with reference to this positive voltage and negative voltage how exactly diode behaves. Okay, so far is equilibrium conditions that we have discussed without applying any potential. If you remove this, if you keep this as a open circuit here, that means you are not going to apply any voltage between these 2 points. The diode becomes an equilibrium condition. When we apply, connect some battery like this, it may be in forward direction or it may be in reverse direction as I shown here. So diode is under steady state conditions. And if I apply these sort of waveforms, then we say diode is under transient conditions. Okay, I hope you understood 3 different conditions. Equilibrium is just open circuit without applying any external potential, and steady state is applying DC voltage. Okay, it may be DC current also as well. So this is a steady state condition. The transient condition is this kind of transient conditions you will study in analog circuits, where we use study the clipping experiments. Hope you have this in current semester. Clipping circuit, clamping circuits.
Yes, sir.
You might be testing the diode with these sort of waveforms, no?
Once we will go to the college, then we'll go for the lab, sir.
Right now you are applying sinusoidal. I feel that not this step
Yes,
or.
sir, sinusoidal.
But you can also test clipping circuit for triangle and this step. You can see the behavior of diode. Okay, how it works. Okay. Anyway, so this is now let us start focusing on the under the steady state conditions. You can see this is a PN junction, and you can observe here the terminals, corresponding terminals where they are connected here. First, let us take forward bias condition. Okay, this is PN junction. This is forward bias condition. So you can see the voltage applied here is VF. We have denoted here as VF. VF indicates it is forward voltage, and this forward voltage means you have to connect negative terminal of battery to the N region of semiconductor. Positive terminal of battery should go to the P region of a semiconductor, and this this part, what happens inside this, we'll discuss, a bit later. Let us now analyze under diode, forward bias condition, what are things, we need to set up, initial setup. The P region is, we need to apply positive external voltage for the forward bias, and N region should be applied with supplied with the negative external voltage. That becomes that you are making this diode as a forward bias. What happens in forward bias? So current starts flowing in the forward bias condition. We have shown here current direction also. You can see that current flows from, due to the external voltage Vf that we have applied, current starts flowing from P to N region. This is a majority carrier current, what you are seeing here, okay, which is flowing from P to. Also remember that holes are also moving from P to N. Current is also flowing from P to N. Usually the hole direction and the current direction will be same. So that is the current we are denoting here. IF flows freely and from P to N due to the majority carriers here, okay. And this current we call this as a forward current here, okay. So that is denoted as this is IF here, forward current here, okay. And this current, typical magnitude of this current is going to be in milliamperes, okay. You don't get a small current here because this is due to the majority carriers. You get a big current, the milliamperes current in terms of milliamperes. Okay, let's see the other approach, other bias conditions, like when we apply reverse bias, the reverse voltage is denoted as VR here. In this case, you need to connect P region to the negative terminal of battery and N region to the positive terminal of battery. So this inside this, what happens we'll see later. See, right now we are just this telling you this, how exactly you need to forward bias and reverse bias and what kind of current it results. And later we will go in depth about energy band diagram. What happens to energy band diagram when you reverse bias and when you forward bias? The changes inside, the energy band diagram we will see later. Okay, the P region is, you need to apply negative external voltage relative to the N region. N region should be applied with positive external voltage relative to the P region. This makes diode reverse bias. In reverse bias, a very small current you can expect. That current is considered as IR, reverse current IR, and this reverse current flows from N to P. Look at earlier, the majority carrier current in forward bias was flowing from P to N. Now current due to the minority carriers. The reason why I am saying minority carriers is because in this case you can see that when you do this, set up this kind of the bias, obviously the holes which are present here, they get started moving to the negative terminal of a battery. Electrons present in the N region, neutral N region, they keep moving to the positive terminal of a battery. That means charge carriers are not moving. I mean majority charge carriers, they are not moving through the junction here. Whereas minority carrier movement happens through the junction here. So minority carrier in this is going to be the electrons. So electrons keep moving like this. This is electron movement, okay, and the holes keep moving like this, okay. So this is holes. Since minority carriers in the P region or N region, they are very less in number, so that's why it results in very small current. Virtually, if you ask me, the current doesn't flow because it's very negligible amount of current, which is microampere amount current that flows here. On one side, in forward bias we are seeing milliampere current, big current, massive current is flowing due to the majority carriers, and due to the reverse bias you are seeing microampere of current. And if you see these things, it is like, looks like an asymmetry conditions, the asymmetry kind of current flow. Current flow is not symmetric because here you expect milliampere, another side you are getting microampere. This is under reverse bias, this is under forward bias. This is called as asymmetry current flow here. And these are used, this asymmetrical current flow is used in variety of applications, like in rectification. Rectification means, you are converting AC to DC. Okay, AC means it's sinusoidal. Okay, any signal of this sort. Probably you might have seen AC voltages at your homes that it oscillates at 50 hertz. Okay, so this type of AC waveform you need to convert into DC for applications like laptops, mobile charging. You need to have a DC instead of having AC. So we need to have a circuit to do that conversion. That's one such circuit is the rectification. So rectifier is a circuit that does a rectification job, which converts AC to DC. When you do just rectification, you may not get completely 100% the DC. You need to do other operations like filtering and regulation, regulators you must use. Rectifiers followed with this other circuits like filters. First is rectifiers, of course. Okay, rectifiers. Following this, you need to apply the output of a rectifier to filter. Then you need to apply this to the regulators, Zener diode based regulators. So then you are going to get here perfect DC. The input for this rectifier is AC. So the diode, in all these circuits, you can see that the diode is the basic element. Okay. Here the in filters you have capacitor, and in rectifier we have a diode, whereas in regulator we have Zeners. Okay, where it maintains a constant voltage, Zener diode. And this is also another form of diode with heavy doping. Okay, so these are typical important applications of a diode. Other applications of diode includes voltage variable capacitor. So capacitor, you can observe capacitor behavior of the p-n junction. As we told, the p and n neutral, p region and neutral, n region can be treated like a parallel plate. As we have seen this on p side you have negative charge, and n side you have a positive charge. This can be interpreted like a capacitor. Okay, so this capacitor can be varied by varying the voltage. That means the number of charges here and here on the two plates, or two neutral n and neutral p region, can be varied, and this capacitance can be increased or decreased accordingly. Okay, so this capacitor variable capacitor. See, normally you see in laboratories the fixed capacitors, but in the diode you get an important application like variable capacitor, voltage variable capacitor. Shortly we will call this as VVC, voltage variable capacitor. Other applications of diode is photo cells. You can use diode or p-n junction for photo cells also. Example, see, this can be, we know that in a p-n junction there is an inbuilt barrier voltage V naught. And now question rises here, can we use this V naught as a source of energy? Think about that. So here, if you little bit modify this, these photo cells can be used as solar cells. Probably you might have seen solar cells. Okay, solar cells, if you just see the characteristics of a p-n junction, so if you operate in specific quadrants or specific region, you can make use of these p-n junctions as solar cells, where it act like a source of energy. Every p-n junction will generate a small amount of potential, and that if you can connect in series, it can produce a big voltage. So that's an application of the p-n junction as solar cells. Diodes also can be used as light emitters in LEDs. You can see in televisions, most of the televisions upcoming and even currently which are existing, they are based on LEDs. You might have seen that OLEDs, organic LEDs nowadays. This is a trend. Okay, so earlier and currently you might be seeing this LED televisions. Now it has been the advancement in this is OLEDs are coming. Okay, so this is one of the application of the p-n junctions. Apart from that, there are other applications, like when we have more than one junction, we can use it as a transistors, BJT, bipolar junction transistor. This is one of the most widely used device, bipolar junction transistor. Within this bipolar junction transistor, here I've shown PNP. There can be even NPN also, which has got three regions here. One is N, P, and N. You can also see that there are two junctions here. Okay, so this is a 3-terminal device. Okay, where for more than one junction, you will have a here in this case it is 2 junctions. There are 3 terminals here. So this is one of the popular application extension of the p-n junction. In PNP also similarly you can see 2 junctions. Between P and N there is 1 junction, N and P there is another junction. So that means you can manufacture transistors using the p-n junction theory. And there is even other devices like the PNPN devices called as the thyristor family. There are numerous devices under this family. One such is silicon controlled rectifier, SCR. There are devices like DIAC, DIAC, and devices like TRIAC. All these are the devices that belongs to thyristor family. So these devices are used in power electronics. Do you have power electronics subject in current semester?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Probably you might have come across these devices. I feel that. Okay, PNP, the thyristor family devices, 4 layer, 3 junctions.
Yes, sir. Just now we did in the lab.
Okay, fine, fine. All right, all right. Okay. So these are the devices which have got 3 junctions and 4 regions. There can be even NP also. Okay, and will you study this? The characteristics, the working principle, everything in power electronics. Okay, so these are the devices extension of the diode itself here. That means if you understand strongly the working and the behavior of a PN junction, you can also understand other devices like BJT and thyristors. Okay, in particularly the SCR, diac and triac. Okay, now let's move on to the other things. The qualitative description of current flow at a junction. See, the content what I am giving in this notes is from the textbook called Streetman. Everybody can look into that textbook. If you have a copy of that, just go back and see that all these contents are taken from the textbook. Okay, and though I made it in points for your understanding purpose, you can even study from the textbook straight away. Okay, now let us see qualitative description of current flow at a junction. Let us see what kind of current that results in a junction. The qualitative description of current flow in a biased junction, when we apply forward bias or reverse bias, and it's very simple to understand this kind of the diode behavior by applying some external voltage, and it also forms the basis or foundation for analytical descriptions of these currents like forward current and reverse current in a junction. Okay. The applied voltage, whatever you apply through external biasing, that where it goes here. So the entire applied voltage appears across the transition region or depletion region here, because the neutral N region and neutral P region, though they are present in the PN junction, the drop across this is going to be very very small, because there are equal number of electron hole pairs happens here, and the current flow in this or voltage across this neutral N region or neutral P region, since it is very small, that can be neglected. Okay, the other aspects of the PN junctions are as follows. The length of the PN junction, whatever we have seen here, though I represent with longer length, the X to be large compared to its area, but in practically the length is going to be very very small compared to its area of a junction. Okay, PN junction. Okay, usually length will be small and area will be larger. Okay, so need to be considered here. PN junction, P and N regions doping, if you look at, it varies from moderate to heavy. So there are two, the different way you can dope it. As we already said, it can be P plus N, where P region is heavily doped and the N region is the moderately doped. This is moderate to heavy. And the other type of diode is N plus P diode. You can see heavy doping is done for the N side and moderate doping is done for the P side. So this plus indicates here, superscript indicates this type of devices are heavily doped. The superscript notation here. When you look at resistance in the neutral region, that's going to be very small, because there are no uh, equal number of electron hole pairs happens here, and there is no charge carriers in that, free charge carriers. So therefore the very small resistance that neutral regions offers for the current flow through the PN junction here. And if you look at voltage drop in the neutral region, that's also going to be very very small. Okay, so there is no significant drop across this neutral region. I hope you understand what we mean by neutral region. Suppose if you take a PN junction, the neutral regions are which are away from the junction. Okay, so don't forget this theory. Okay, so yes, let me consider this is a P N plus diode. If that is the case, you will have a more depth to the P side, lesser to the N side, and this distance we told it is minus xp naught, and this distance, this is xp naught. This distance is plus xn naught. So this region is nothing but it is neutral, neutral N region. Okay, let me show in a different color so that you can easily identify that region. So the region what you are seeing here, this complete region is called as a neutral N region. Okay, other side you can see this is neutral P region. Okay, so this is neutral P. Okay, so I am talking with reference to these regions here, neutral P region. Okay, So in these regions, resistance is small, drop is small. Okay. Now let us see what happens to the applied voltage here. So when we apply voltage through biasing, okay, so let us say if we forward bias this, we are connecting here with positive voltage, and here we are connecting with negative terminal of a battery, which we indicated as V. This is the applied voltage, and as the entire voltage appears across the transition region. So that's what we were telling here. The applied voltage V is nothing but it is equivalent to the voltage in the transition region. So that means this voltage get passed on to this transition region, this region. Okay, what you are seeing here, this region. Okay, so this region is very interesting. So the voltage what you apply here, okay, through this battery, suppose if you apply either 2 volts or 3 volts, that entire voltage appears in this region. Okay, and that's going to be strong in the middle of a junction. Okay, that's what we are trying to say here. So voltage applied is equal to the voltage that appears in the transition region. Also this can be called as voltage in the space charge region here. Okay. Okay, so this is an assumption what we do here. Okay, so in practically this may not be true, but this is what the assumption here. You may ask a question: the small drop will happen even in the neutral P region, practical PN junction if you consider, and but a significant drop happens in the depletion region or space charge region. Now the applied voltage V, let us see that this is dependence. What we have shown here of exactly there is a one-to-one correlation. When the applied voltage V changes, okay, so this is the V whatever we apply here through this battery, say plus minus like this. This is the applied voltage. When you increase or decrease this, what is going to happen? So the Q into V naught, that is nothing but the electrostatic. This is the potential. This is electrostatic potential barrier. So when the voltage, applied voltage changes, so obviously the Q into V naught also changes. Okay, so Q into V naught is nothing but this is electrostatic potential barrier also changes. Okay, so the applied voltage is going to be in opposite to that of V naught. So therefore, when you go with the positive direction or negative direction, the corresponding the product of this keeps changing. When the Q into V naught changes, obviously this electric field also changes. So this is E is nothing but electric field in the transition region. This also changes. So now this when the electric field get alters, when this changes here, then obviously the energy bands also changes. When energy band changes, the width of the depletion region also changes. Okay, so this flow shows there is a applied voltage is correlated with the electrostatic potential barrier, electric field, energy band, and the depletion width. Okay, so I think that's what we need to discuss in today's class. I will stop at this point since in the class next hour you have a class. Any questions so far whatever we discussed? Okay, if you don't have questions, then next class we'll discuss about the electrostatic the potential barrier at a junction. We'll see when the forward bias is applied, how exactly the voltage in the potential barrier or potential barrier gets reduces, and that allows the diffusion of charge carriers. Those aspects we will discuss in the coming class. I look forward from your side to go through this graph and come while coming to the next class this graph. I'll just rotate this so that you can see the yeah. So these graphs are very important to understand so far whatever we discussed. So I look forward from your side to this is very slow my laptop. Oh, sorry, it got reversed. I must do reverse. I feel that reverse. Let me see. Okay, anyway, what I will do is I will upload this thing in the Google Classroom, so you can just go through that and come prepared for the next class. Okay, we'll cover all these things in the next class. So once we are done with this, the PN junction, we need to move to the reverse bias and the optoelectronics, which will take less time to cover for me. Okay, I hope till today, till this class, you have understood everything whatever we covered. Next class we will move to this topic like PN junction under steady state conditions. Okay, So I stop at this point, and the attendance link will be passed on to your WhatsApp group. Okay, kindly fill up your details in that. So thank you all for
Yes.
watching this video.
Thank you, sir.